I'm here with Bob Evans, Chief Research Scientist and Historian for the SS Central America Treasure Salvage Operations. Bob, can you explain to me what your operations has been involved as far as the past several months dealing with the treasure?
Well, beginning in January, we started the process of curating the treasure. And to follow the flow here, basically on board the ship, the uh, gold coins were packed inside of coin tubes, similar to, I mean, this was a dollar tube, but we put double eagles inside it instead. Each double eagle would go in with a rubber disc in between the coins in order to keep them from impacting each other. Dwight Manley will take these and lay them out in order inside one of these, I'm calling them cribs because they sort of look like it. It's on a nice soft diaper, keeping the coin tube with it so that we know which coins go with which record. And then they are stacked on a shelf over here awaiting my further attentions in the curatorial lab. Actually, this one will be good for this. I can see that this one needs some attention. So I place the coins into a proprietary solution that I prepare, and over the course of a day or several days, depending on how quickly the process takes place, the coins go from being coated with rust and mineral deposits to being entirely free of those, using a sable hair brush here to lift the obscuring minerals and rust off of the surfaces of the coins. Just gently urging it. It's a physical deposit on the surface of the gold, not a chemical corrosion of the gold itself. This is mostly rust from the engines and boilers of the steamship. It actually has deposited on everything down there, on the coal, on the ceramics, and even on the gold coins. So it just gently wafts away. And I will do this process sometimes several iterations, turning the coins over to expose a new surface and a new the other side and its mineral deposits.
The extent of encrustation of the the rust deposits or whatever interaction with the seawater and the rest of the environment is going to vary from coin to coin, correct?
Yeah, it's not consistent. This is a geological environment where you have some things that are more heavily encrusted and some things that are less encrusted. Some things barely require any curatorial attention at all, and some coins require a lot of it. It can take 4 or 5 days for these to go from the encrusted condition to these are, well, 3 of these, it appears, are ready to come out. This one's still got just a little bit of black down here by the date, but that will be coming free soon. But I will be going through the finishing process on these, provided that the other side looks, oh yeah, that's a lovely coin.
There's a significant difference between those coins and say a couple of the other ones that are in another tray
Yeah,
back here. They're almost completely black.
yeah. Well, those just went into solution yesterday, and so they like these half eagles here. You can see there's going to be quite a lot of stuff that still needs to come off of them, and this is going to take I would guess it's going to take these probably 4 days. I have to change the solutions on a daily basis.
Is the intensity of this solution the same? So you're not like putting a stronger solution on, say, the second or third or fourth treatment, however many times you need to treat it?
No, I'm consistent with the way the reactions go. The way I blended this chemistry, it is essentially neutral in its pH, with a pH of 7.2 to 7.3, which is, in scientific speak, neutral. Therefore, it can be handled with just bare hands. I usually wear gloves just to protect myself from dishpan hands after so many hours of working with wet materials. But since I've been talking to you here, I haven't had my blue gloves on. But no, it's blended in such a way that the pH is that consistent neutral quality, so that it is safe. That's going to be a nice coin. It's got a beautiful obverse on it. Oh yeah, I like what I'm seeing here. And the mineral deposits themselves vary. Some of them are very heavily dependent on rust. Some of it is more of a organic kind of deposit. There are bacteria on the shipwreck site that actually use the iron as part of their metabolic processes. And so the deposits are in part biological as well as being chemical. So it's biology and geology. It all goes together to create the depositional environment in which we found this treasure.
As part of the treasure not only includes coins, it also includes various artifacts or gold in different forms, be it in nuggets or attached, embedded in quartz or whatever its natural environment would have originally been.
Yes, like this piece here is essentially this is a piece of the mother lode. It is a chunk of quartz with gold veins running through it. This is the source material that made the California Gold Rush what it was. By the time this particular pebble washed out into a stream or into a ancient stream, which might have been the location of this, judging by the pieces we found, it is seeing a little bit of weathering and wear in a river or a stream, but the nuggets are weathering out of this piece of quartz. And it makes a rather spectacular kind of find. You cannot find rocks like these anymore. You can only find them in a shipwreck at the bottom of the Atlantic, oddly enough.
You've always got the analogy, pig in a poke. Well, evidently these pokes had anything but bacon in them.
Inside the safe that we found in the debris field close to the main shipwreck, we found a safe. And inside there were other parcels. One of those parcels was a saddlebag that, in turn, when opened, it contained these pokes. These are canvas cloth bags that are very heavy and appear to have other materials inside of them. We expect it to be gold dust and nuggets and perhaps some of these rocks that we just saw a minute ago, the quartz with the gold in them. Here's a rather spectacular nugget that weighs over an ounce. Nice and worn, probably in a stream. But this is the material that would have been taken to an assay office, such as Kellogg and Humbert, where they would melt it down and turn it into that very first form of precise money that we find in abundance on the Central America, which is the assay ingots, where they would stamp the their maker's mark, a serial number, but the number of ounces to the hundredth of an ounce, the purity expressed in thousandths, or 1 part per thousand. It's known as fine. Something, for instance, would have been 891 fine. That would mean that it was 89.1% gold. And then that weight and that purity are multiplied times $20.67.2 in order to produce the exact dollar value of the gold in the ingot, and then that is stamped on the ingot as well. Those ingots, in turn, were a convenient way to ship the gold. So the commercial shipment on the Central America contained quite a few of those ingots, over 500 of those ingots, in fact, originally. We recovered 45 more as we continued and completed the excavation of that commercial shipment area in 2014.
Do you know what the largest one you came this go around? Because almost 20 years ago, when you went and curated that collection, the largest one was the Eureka bar, which was 80 pounds.
The largest ingot we found this time was it was a Henry Hench ingot that weighed over 300 ounces. It was not over 900 like the Eureka bar, but still a very big ingot and pretty massive. Probably a 20 or 25 pound ingot. And it's quite a piece, and we're going to have it on display at the exhibit at Long Beach, the Long Beach Coin and Collectible Exposition.
Bob, what's it been like curating this collection and all this treasure stuff? You've been on every one of the expeditions, every one of the dives, or whenever they brought up material. You've cataloged all this stuff. I don't think anybody's got a closer bird's eye view or close-up view as you have. What's this meant to you?
Well, it's a tremendous privilege to not only have participated in the finding of this great treasure, but also get to be the person who interprets it and tells the stories. Because I spend so much time with it, the reality and meaning of these different pieces settles in on my mind as I handle them and as I curate them. I study them and I catalog them and I weigh them and I take the mineral deposits off of them. It gives me a lot of time to think about what they mean. And it's a tremendous privilege to be able to bring this time capsule to life for the modern viewer and the modern numismatist.
Thank you, sir.